Hello everyone and welcome back to the European SCL. I'm Adonis, joined by Toli here for the last match of the day. We're going to see the top versus bottom, Retribution taking on RvL. But up first, we have a new event that's going to be coming up here in the next weekend. Jington's Mountain. If you've been kind of grouping with your friends here, now you have a chance to actually win gems while doing it. It's going to be Saturday, September 24th from 1 p.m. to 5 p.m. And basically, as you play with your group, you're going to try and get as high as you can in the rounds, and whoever has the highest round at the end, and I think the top 16 teams are going to be able to pay out gems. But there's going to be more information later today, so be sure to check out the link below, smitegame.com for that.
It's going to be a lot of gems. I think the top couple teams are going to get something like 8,000 gems.
Yeah, I think number one is 8,000. It's like the $100 package, and that's for your whole team. So it's going to be really exciting. And I know a lot of streamers and competitive players have been playing and grinding it out.
I'm making an alt.
Totally, you're not allowed to win gems. Listen, I know we only pay you 5 gems. I've been trying to push for 6. I've been trying to push for 6,
man. You don't know the struggle is real, man.
Every time you grind, another button comes unbuttoned. Please stop. So for this game, the RvL taking on Retribution here. RvL currently sitting at the top, Retribution at the bottom, only 1 point. Obviously, things haven't been working out for them with all these changes.
Even with the changes from RvL as well, Watson going into the mid lane for RvL, they've been able to adapt a lot better than Retribution have. We saw Proxy in the former split. Retribution was going into the SCL Summerland last time as the #1 European seed, and they've struggled during that LAN. They couldn't really compete with the other teams, and they're still struggling now in online play.
Well, we'll see if they can adapt here. I know they've kind of switched up a couple roles, brought in a lot of new people here. nMinos, excuse me, going to be playing for them today in the solo role, so we'll see how he's going to match up against Gnome. For me, it's still this big talking point about RvL, right? Retribution, they've crashed and burned. It's going to be a long build-up for them, but RvL looks so good. And Watson in the mid, I was a little bit worried about the transition, but it seems to be flowing.
It's all about him playing those hunters that he's so normally used to at this point. He's been transitioning with the Soul specifically in the last set where he's been able to kind of do a lot of player damage and kind of carry the team. And
that's what you need from Watson. I mean, that's his job here. Picks and bans coming through. Nemesis taken out by RvL. Terra eliminated by Retribution. And there's that Soul you were talking about, but it's actually RvL who banned it away themselves.
Maybe it could be an option where they go for the Kronos pick. They're probably going to pick up Fafnir here, trying to get their magical hunter, physical hunter as well. And it's a very good option to go either the Freya or Kronos for RvL, because Retribution probably wouldn't take both.
And so one of them's going to be open, and also you have that possibility for that kind of dual style, right? You put the Kronos in the mid, maybe. I don't know about the Freya. We saw it picked up. I'm trying to remember. Was it Watson who picked it up? Someone picked up Freya mid, and it just like did not work in the SCL recently. But Isis for Retribution here, looking for more of that early game style coming out of Elexum.
And that's what you really need to do. You need to figure out the good synergy for your mid jungler to be able to shut down any sort of magical hunters that's going to come out of RvL. Because with the Fafnir pick, it kind of preludes to a Kronos or Freya with Soul being banned.
Well, we'll see if RvL are going to do it here. If they don't pick it here, obviously they leave themselves open to have that style banned away. Maybe they're looking for a different style though, but no, you're going to be right, Totally. The Freya Fafnir combo, it's very devastating. Even when you're not in that draconic form for the AoE attack speed buff, just all you really need to do is throw it on Freya.
That's what you have to do on the Freya. Keep her alive. Try to look for the peels as well. Get her more damage for her pulse radiant combination. Whereas Retribution, on the flip side, they need to prevent Freya getting into the late game form. So synergizing with this very aggressive Anhur in the duel lane, I wouldn't be surprised if we see a Bacchus or a Sobek.
A lot of anything with high kill. I think Sobek would probably work the best. Bacchus probably better overall, but for just picking off a Freya, right? All it takes is one charge spray to do it. Fenrir also very aggressive in the early game, and I think Retribution are kind of showing exactly what game they're going to be playing today.
I love the Willish ban, making sure that your Fenrir isn't going to get countered during the jump right away.
On her too.
That's true. That's true, on her too. And immediately, RvL banning away the Sobek, trying to make the dual laning phase a little bit easier. Those two aggressive supports is a great way of keeping the Freya alive.
And there goes the Bacchus as well. Possibly Athena picked up. Kumba also pretty good at lockdown. Ymir, though, we don't really see too much of him. He's actually kind of bled in more to that solo lane style, more than the support really role. Outside of, I think, in the SPL Panda-like, he's really been the only one to be continuously running in the support role, but very strong against Freya. Obviously, no escape from the walls if she's caught in the jungle.
That's the whole point, because even though it's very obvious when Ymir is coming at you, you can see him coming a mile away, just walking at you, but that wall is very devastating in these small corridor jungle fights where you can't really escape unless you have to use your ultimate.
So RvL here, obviously Retribution don't have their soul laner yet, unless they put Ymir there, but actually grabbing Ravana and Erlang Shen, kind of taking away both early game options.
That's surprising, because I like the fact that they got Erlang here. That's a great initiation setup for the Raijin, finding that root cripple from a distance, even if you're going into one of the side lane ganks. And he's a very tanky jungler, so you have this tanky frontline presence between Erlang, Ravana, and Fafnir to keep your Freya alive. Yeah.
And Raijin obviously can self-peel for himself. Guan, you got to be last pick for Retribution here. Another thing too, Erlang Shen, I mean, we're pretty confident that's going to the jungle and the Ravana to the solo, and that's exactly what's going to be happening there. But the pin actually has a cripple on it. Very good against Fenrir.
Absolutely, that's what you need to do. We didn't see the Ares pick because they wanted to try to go for the Fafnir instead. The Fenrir was picked after the Fafnir, so that didn't matter. But that's a great counter towards these junglers that rely so heavily on these escapes, whether it's Fenrir or Susanoo.
And Retribution here. I think they've all in for this early game. They've picked up a Wrath on the Fenrir as well, so going to be looking for more than likely some early gold Furies. They've got the Isis in tow as well. And I really like this style because I think the teams that aren't performing as well, you know, whether it be teamwork or mechanically, it's almost better for them to focus on early game strategies because they have a little bit more of a leeway to make mistakes and still have options.
It's all about how you can transition that early game advantage, though. It's very important for these teams to figure out a way to extend it because this team out of RvL, they're very experienced. So if they're behind, they know ways to get back into the game. So Retribution really need to not only get a great start, but keep it throughout the rest of the game.
I'd like to see them pay attention to Rapio more than anything. Rapio, coming out of the summer split, had the most kills of any jungler by a fairly large margin outside of Chapo, who was close to him by like 5. Everyone else was, I think, 30 and below away. And since then, we've seen Rapio really kind of run this offense for RvL, especially with this Erlang Shen. I think the first time we saw him bring it out was at LAN, and it was a very dominating performance by him.
It's a great idea to have it in your arsenal because you don't know if that's going to be solo lane, you don't know if it's going to be jungle. The mobility that he has between his turtle and Mink allows him to out-rotate the Fenrir pretty heavily. We see both mid-harpies being traded 1-for-1, but a nice rotation from Gnome on those elementals.
RvL probably just going to be playing it slow here in the early game, just the standard meetup of the mid jungle. I don't think anyone really wants to fight. There's a lot of kill potential from both of these mids and jungles. Great CC, great burst.
Absolutely. So whoever pulls the trigger first is going to take a lot of poke in return. So you want to wait to use your root cripple for the Fenrir that jumps in to prevent the brutalized follow-up.
Left-hand side, Retribution pushing the Freya under tower in the early game. This is what you like to see, not only against a Freya, but as an Anhur Ymir. There's a lot of kill potential here as well. Chain CCs, as well as the potential to wall and get the impale onto it.
Not going to be able to really find the freeze onto the Freya because a great job finding the slow. Also going to miss it onto Zenborne. But in the meantime, Mango Man was just casually pushing it up, found the wave, and they're still going to try to push them under tower.
And you just want to shut down Freya as much as possible early game. Retribution, though, not really off to a super strong start. I mean, it's 2 minutes in, so it's weird to say, but when you're running this Isis Fenrir, who have the Wrath in tow as well, you kind of want to look for these opportunities, especially in the first 5 minutes. What's going to be the best jets for them? It's
going to be dependent on exploiting one of the side lanes, right? The Freya would probably be your best bet, trying to catch her before level 5 right now. Fenrir's about to hit level 5 off of those back right Harpies, as we see the Isis already level 5.
Just everyone hitting 5. Gnome here on the right-hand side along with nMinos as well. Obviously, the Ravana getting the better end of this matchup for now. Only a 30 gold difference, though, which, believe it or not, kind of, I mean, that's only being behind 30 gold is Guan at 2.5. That's pretty good.
It's very impressive to try to stabilize, but this is the point where things are getting tricky. Gnome's in hands and his first ability is hitting way too hard. The sustain from Guan Yu is not quite there yet.
And you can see nMinos as well. He's just backing up completely. He has no intention of trying to box out Gnome. You can see Gnome also still 6 potions in his inventory, so he's sat in this lane without taking any return poke. More than likely, nMinos has invested into just sustaining. Rotations from the supports starting to happen, though. Obviously, Fafnir still caught there with Freya, but the Ymir might be looking to open up opportunities as the jungle starts respawning. And it doesn't seem like either team wants to invade, though.
Fenrir just grabbing those Fire Giant Elementals, now sharing it in the mid lane. The wave going to be able to reset, grab its own speed buff as it's respawning. You want to try to clear the jungle as quickly as possible. You have the Wrath available. Whereas on the side of Rapio, he decided to back to finish off his warrior tabby just to be able to make a power play once he did get the speed.
And we also did just see a rotation from Rival into their own red buff, the Fafnir and Freya. Not looking to do it, just making sure it wasn't getting invaded. They didn't really have vision on Ymir at the time, just trying to make sure nothing cheeky's going on. Obviously, Isis wants to set up early. One thing that might be kind of delaying Retribution looking for these early game opportunities, though, is this Fafnir, because he has a Wrath on his side as well, so it's not going to be free, easy Gold Fury objective play.
Not at all, but they have really good poke potential with this Isis, so as long as they find the primary initiation, another missed freeze coming out of Awe.
The wall as well, and the jump forward from Gnome, and they're trying to isolate out this Ymir. No way he's going to get out, but the Isis ult actually does heal him, and somehow he escapes underneath. Ragnarok going to keep Rapio under tower for half a second, and the Spirit Ball going to dissuade Rival from pushing forward any more, but how does Ymir escape out of that one?
That was just a clutch circle of protection coming out of Elexum there, keeping him alive with the protections, mitigating a lot of damage, and then returning the big burst heal, making sure he stayed alive.
I almost want to think that Rival thought they already had that kill. It really feels like they just kind of stopped focusing on the Ymir because they thought it was confirmed with the Raijin ult, but then that Isis ult just healed them up to a little bit more than they had expected.
More important than the Isis ult before that was the wall coming out of the Ymir. It actually prevented the taunt coming from Rapio.
And I mean, that's a pretty fast counter there. The Ymir wall, or Ymir in general, really doesn't see a lot of play, but the wall can be used so dynamically, not only for instances of blocking abilities and like ultimates included there in obviously Erlang Shen's ultimate, but also just cutting off paths. Going to be very useful against this Freya the later the game goes.
Once you have a little bit of mobility on this Ymir, you're able to still run forward and drop the wall right behind you, which is another great escape mechanism for him.
Rapio just going to be working on the blue buff on the right-hand side. Obviously, Robin would have been able to manage it on his own, but Rapio just trying to split a little bit of this XP. The gold still dead even. Rival have like a 50 gold difference, which more than likely from Fire Elementals, as Rapio picks up another 90 from this spawn as well.
Which is not too good for Rival here, I would say, because Retribution, their composition is pretty good, I would say, in teamfight wise, with the Isis heals, the Guan heals, but at the flip side, they also have Freya's late game damage, so as long as they can find anybody out of position, they should be able to burst them down, especially with that Coerce.
You can see in the meantime, right-hand side, just Erlang Shen trying to set up a kill, misses the pin though, so not gonna happen. I think more than likely he's just trying to force out the Guan Yu's ult than anything else here. The 3v3 grouping in the mid. The power boots are online though from everyone right now, so a lot of bonus power and penetration. Jeron knows it too. Just looking for some poke, jumping forward.
I like that idea. Maybe trying to force out the purification coming out of Watson. They forced it earlier onto Rapio, and maybe that's the target that he was primarily going for. Maybe following it up with a Ragnarok, just slightly off the mark on the Erlang.
And it doesn't seem like Retribution here want to take any of this. We saw the single jump forward from the Fenrir, but outside of that, they've been very passive. And the positioning from Elexum is the big one for me. This dude is not peeking up at all here. All going for an aggressive play. They're going to look for Zenborne, but he's got his ult as well. The Isis ult is dropped, and Ragnarok just trying to stop the Erlang Shen in the back line. He doesn't have Purification. He's stuck with Wrath, but the Turtle's going to help him get out. But no, actually, the Ymir ult barely blows up and gets first blood.
Rapio, though, did die earlier on. He didn't have Purification available, just now resetting. So I think the Ymir died immediately after the Erlang Shen. So great trade overall.
And I mean, this is good for Ymir. Obviously, they're going to trade out Ymir for a Erlang Shen any day of the week. Ymir, as long as he's just tanky enough to survive the burst. Outside of that, he just brings massive CC chance.
Left-hand side, though, a nice little Wu Mango Man trying to trade out with Atonement. The Impale is not available, but a nice knock-up, going to secure some more in-hands.
Ooh, Atonement on the wrong side of this here. Now that Pulse is deactivated, he's got to run away, but a great Impale barely off the wall. If the stun connects, maybe we see the full commit there.
It would have been an ultimate for ultimate trade. Atonement could have possibly lost his life, but now Gnome looking for the invade on the right-hand side.
The issue is this: there's a lot of members over here, so this is going to get dangerous for Gnome. He does successfully steal away the blue buff, but look at this, Jeron. He makes the rotation, but he's just too low health to try and contest.
And Gnome just casually walking away. He's still taking a lot of poke in return. He has his teleport available to walk away, and now we have a rotation from Rapio.
And nMinos, no ultimate. Twice now we've seen that exact same play. Twice now we've seen Rapio miss the pin. Both options might have been able to come up with a steal there, but unfortunately can't connect them.
And this is a big issue for Retribution. If you're going to lose your blue buff, you have to get something in return. Maybe invade the enemy red buff, maybe go for even a Gold Fury play if they're going to extend towards the right-hand side.
I just felt like with this Fenrir and the Wrath as well as the Isis, then Anhur and Ymir duo late, like this was an aggressive composition coming out of Retribution that I really feel like they have to abuse. And despite the game being pretty close to even outside of a little bit of 300 gold from the First Blood bounty, I feel like Retribution's behind because this game is going on for quite some time and they haven't tried to get aggressive at all. And once this Raijin and Freya come online, like how are they going to deal with
That's
them?
going to be a big issue for Retribution. You know, they have the better early game between the Isis and the Ymir. Those ultimates, we do have Watson going to be forced to use the Purification, and now Jeron taking a lot of damage in return.
Could be dangerous for Watson though, but no one else is following up on Aw's aggression. He's left alone. Actually, Jeron backing in the mid, and now Aw is caught out by himself. The Ice is around the corner. Great Spirit Ball connects onto both members of RvL there. They're not going to be able to chase down the Ymir. Probably wouldn't have been able to do either way, but he would have taken more poke at the very least.
It would have been close, and right now, RvL are feeling very confident to start up this Gold Fury. Atonement's going to begin it.
They're trying to actually utilize this Draconic form in the AoE cores. Both teams have Wrath, but Retribution just watch it happen as Gnome completely zones out all of them.
And he might even find a kill onto the Isis on the backhand side. He has his ultimate if he wants to go for it.
Ooh, the Raijin ult coming through as well. Atonement on the side here, focusing on Mango Man, who jumps away. And Retribution are going to be able to get away without losing a single member, but the Gold Fury does go the way of RvL.
I like that play from RvL because they recognize that nMinos rotated over to mid without teleport. He used it earlier to get back to lane, and then once they saw him go back to the soul lane, they recognized they had a 5-on-4 play around the gold.
Just completely abusing that. And the Draconic form as well. I mean, that was just used to peel, but ended up just the team rotated all the way over. They didn't notice Aw or the Fenrir in a good enough position to contest with his Wrath, and it was very clean. It was just really well timed based off of what happened in the mid lane.
And this is very problematic for Retribution because they're the ones that should have gotten Gold Furies sneakily underneath their Isis ultimate, Ymir ultimate. They have a Wrath onto Jeron as well, so just dropping the ball with these objectives is Retribution.
I mean, they've just been playing incredibly passive all game. It's really been RvL who has forced every single engagement, so they didn't open up those opportunities. Were those stolen, though?
It seems like one of them might have been stolen by that Isis Spirit Ball.
Whether he got it or not, that was a nice shot from Elexum. Whether he got it or not, that was pretty close.
You know who's really good about stealing mid-harpies?
Lassus.
No. Well, maybe, yeah, but Jerby was like actually really solid about stealing those. But he would do it with Kukulkan ultimate, Raw ultimate, and they were like, okay, I guess we'll kill you now.
And then the team fight would start, and then he just doesn't have those. Oh man, here Zenborne caught out. He's gonna be chain CC'd, but still pretty tanky, and just jumps away. Did he have his ult? No, he did have his ult there. So Zenborne managing to hold it there, which is something that I think a lot of supports would have immediately panicked on.
He's pretty tanky right now with his build. He might have a lot of golden hand to help him with the protection on the left-hand side. A little bit of a trade. Atonement going to go into the sky, landing onto all four, but no fear from Mango Man. He just absorbed them all.
But here's the rotation, though, from the Fenrir. Atonement able to purify out and will be able to escape with this life. You can see the Fafnir rotating over as well, trying to stop the Isis and Ymir from sneaking around behind him. Man, Mango Man is actually a man, by the way. I've never seen anyone. He just tanked the entire ultimate. He could have jumped a shot, but he's like, no, I'd rather have the knockup. I know I'm going to live from all 4 shots, but just a hair too early.
And
just
now
a hair.
Just using the Aussie off of the board is going to sustain it back up. Could go back into the left-hand side. His ultimate is available to take this trade, and with no purification on the Freya, but going to be able to back very safely right behind that Gold Fury.
If he knows Atonement's there, he probably commits to the fight.
He jumps and kills
because there's nothing he can do at that point. Purification's down. Second Relic did just come online for the Freya, but I don't believe she had it in that lane. Speaking of that, Blink picked up by Erlang Shen, not something you see too often.
It's not a bad idea. You get the Blink taunt. We've seen some Athenas way back in the day go for that Guardian Blink surprise factor taunt. We see a nice little freeze in a wall just to disengage, no follow-up.
It's almost like, I mean, it's just like very easy to commit to. A lot of times when you see an Athena charging at you, you got your button ready to jump away, but when they blink, a lot of times you don't have that reaction time. So looking to open up some other opportunities, I think, is Rapio. More than likely, looking for Awe, I would like to think. Kind of blink behind him and just kind of catch him off guard.
It's very possible. And not only that, the cone for that blink taunt is a lot wider than the Athena dash taunt in general, so you can catch a lot more members with it. You should be able, in these team fights, find Elexum and maybe even Mango Man.
And there he is, Rapio going straight for Awe there. Blink's still online. And this is something that, I mean, Rapio just got this. Retribution might not have noticed. And if Rapio blinks onto this lane, this could be entirely unsuspecting. You can see him still hanging around there. Fafnir and Watson in the mid, just clearing for now. And here comes Rapio, the whoop onto Awe here. And a nice juke there. Awe just sidestepping barely to avoid the pin.
Not able to really get the initiations he wants to is Rapio. He's still holding on to his ultimate, so I like the patience, you know, just looking for the poke onto Awe. He also forced out sprints out of Awe, so that could be a good time to start a team fight.
And Goldfear going to be respawning here in just about 30 seconds to a minute, I believe. So that sprint probably still going to be down about 45 seconds there, you could see. Atonement and Mango Man on this left-hand side, they do not stop boxing. Like, it has just been...
Not at all. You want to be able to try to look for these trades when you're Fatalis Freya at this point. You have a really nice power curve with the Magi boots, whereas on the side of the Anhur, he has really good sustain and good penetration with his passive.
Invade coming out successfully for Rapio on the right-hand side, and they've caught nMinos as well. He's just chained to death. Good freeze, and nMinos might be able to escape. Raijin ultimate in the lawn form, but he's right inside of All's ultimate. Sanctuary's just barely. Raijin still trying to get out as Zenborne is trying to keep the Fenrir from chasing. Jeron switching targets straight back onto the Fafnir. He's got Awe in tow as well. The Kraken just kind of run around in circles right now trying to juke. It's not going to happen, and Jeron comes up with the kill.
Finally finding one kill onto Zenborne after everything is said and done. Goldfury has respawned, but Atonement's playing under the left-hand side tower dome. Going to try to find the root, not on the mark. They're looking for the speed buff, surprisingly, instead of going for the Goldfury. They have the Wrath.
They lost their own speed buff. Isis was down, so maybe a little bit more wary about that, but, I mean, they did kill the Fafnir, so... Wrath for Wrath, I mean, that was a huge win and just not taking advantage of it there.
Not at all, but now it's going to be on a lot of trouble getting Root crippled. He has no sprint to get away from this.
Oh, and he's going to be picked up there. And that's what Rapio has been trying to do all game. Finally gets his second kill onto the Ymir. We can see that that's the target for RvL. They just haven't really been able to convert it.
And that's the one issue with the Ymir, the support. You cannot ever be by yourself. You have to look for these wall around the corners. You have to have your Fenrir to bail you out. Because you absorb so many cooldowns, your Fenrir should be able to follow up.
Goldfury has respawned. And with Zenborne respawned as well, no ultimate online, so he doesn't have the AoE coerce, but RvL still want to bait this out. Retribution starting to push forward, and the solo laners are looking to TP in. Here comes Gnome as well, and Fafnir jumps forward, just trying to zone. Actually, shredding Jeron as well with the help of his Robin, and it looks like RvL just gonna try and bait a fight here, not looking for maybe just the objective.
They have to, with Awe just now respawning. They poked out Fenrir down to half health. Gnome's gonna get stunned out. We see nMinos thinking about using his ultimate. He's gonna try to go for a stun, but a nice Wrath from Zenborne does secure it.
And nMinos here, his ultimate is down. You can see the full chase, RvL committing to it, and the Taiku drums just lining up. Two people. Atonement's already taken out nMinos. Zenborne jumps forward as well, over the top of Awe, who gets whooped up by Atonement, and Rapio blinks in, pinned in place. Rapio finds the second of this fight, and another Goldfury RvL quickly take a significant lead at about 2K.
They're not done yet, though. They're grouped up around the tier 1 mid tower. They still have Zenborne in dragon form to give that AoE coerce. As the minions do enter the tower, the backdoor protections get eliminated. Nice little stun onto Watson,
and that might be
here comes Jeron.
Oh, that was so unfortunate. The Draconic form just ended. Atonement able to respond on Jeron, though. Gnome very low. He's going to be able to escape, and it's not going to be a tier 1, but still, all this pressure and kind of momentum RvL have. It feels like this should be more of a lead, though.
Absolutely. Retribution have been struggling quite heavily since the beginning. They can't really establish a foothold, whereas RvL, they've been getting the better end so far. They've been the ones that have been able to really find these two Goldfuries, whereas Retribution's team comp just screams Goldfury all day between Isis, Ymir, and Wrath, like we mentioned earlier.
And just not able to convert here. Looking at items, though, pretty tanky coming out from the soul laners. Frostbound picked up by the Robin. Guan going more for the Spirit's Robe. Obviously, a fair amount of CC on the side of RvL that he has to worry about. Just trying to negate that.
And now, looking at the Freya build, going into the Witchblade immediately after Magi's boost. I really like this option. You're trying to outbox the Anhur.
I mean, it's not even just the Anhur, too. It's the Fenrir and the Guan. And if Isis keeps getting shut down, those physical protections are going to go a long way, because the longer a Freya is alive in a fight, the worse off it is for you. I know that's pretty like generic to say, but Freya really snowballs hard.
Keeping her alive is the key issue, and so far with 0 deaths, all of RvL have been doing a great job just positioning, keeping this Freya alive. Now working towards this demonic grip, left-hand side, still going to be able to farm, no real contestment in this dueling.
Some wards coming up as well right now. Kind of littered for Retribution on the right side of the map. Just want to make sure no Fire Giants are going to be picked up. I mean, it's only 17 minutes, but we have seen some pretty early Fire Giants. There's Wrath and Coerce as well, so something they always have to be aware of. But not a lot of wards on the left side of the map.
Not at all. I like the wards on the right, though, because you're keeping your Guan alive. He could get struggled on. A nice little jump away from the Fenrir, going to avoid Rapio.
Also got Rapio's blink off that, and you can see RvL. They really want to siege this tower, but they need to create the right opportunity. Rapio in the front line does have the taunt online. Actually, all 10 ultimates are available here, and RvL just walk in. No response from Retribution.
There are 5-man grouped up around the mid. We see Anhur still split pushing on the left. He's going to be able to answer tier 1 for tier 1. He should be able to keep on going, but on the left-hand side, Rapio, he's forced to use his ultimate and the purification.
Zenborne going to jump forward, though, and a great wall from going to stop this. And this is leaving open Anhur right now to do split push. And Retribution, I think they're just trying to stop backs right now. They don't want Retribution or RvL to defend this.
But a nice little teleport coming from Gnome's going to be able to stop the back.
Oh, this could be bad.
Mango.
Look at this pinch. This huge pinch coming in from the dual lane of RvL as well as the solo lane. Gnome just trying to waste as much time as possible. Here comes the Freya as well. Mango Man gonna just try and survive as long as he can for his team to rotate in. Nice backstep, and he's actually juking in between the minions right now, but pushed up against the wall, and it seemed like Retribution just got zoned out from Zenborne there, not able to assist.
He was trying so hard to juke out that he kept going south instead of north to his team to be able to bail him out. That's one of those unfortunate situations where, yeah, you have to avoid the enhance, but you can't run away from your team for that long.
You're going to be dead no matter what in that spot. And honestly, great presence of mind as Zenborne, recognizing that the counter rotation was coming in. All going to find a stun onto him under this tower, but he's getting shredded right now. Tycho Drums has him pushed up against his own wall, and the Isis ultimate doesn't get popped early enough to get the heal. Drawn answers back on Rapio, but a 3-man whoop, and RvL pushes forward. Watson to the back line right now, turns his attention over to Duran. It's going to be a 2-for-1 so far.
The Freya's just stacking up her player damage, able to find so much damage, and now diving into the tier 2 tower. Gnome secures one onto Elexum, zoning away the Guan Yu from the tier 1 tower. It's going to go down, and there should be another tier 2 with only Guan to defend.
That was, I mean, it really seemed like a sloppy fight from RvL, but they still just run over it right now. A lot of that probably heading to a bit of the experience lead. Also, pretty big power spike items that had just been completed. Tier 2 likely to fall here. nMinos going to try and stop it, and Mango Man's back in. His ultimate hitting multiple targets. 3 members low, but no one in kill range just yet. nMinos trying to chase him down. Doesn't have Cavalry charge right now. Atonement, very low mana, trying to run through the jungle. And look at that, Watson and Zenborne trying to get the sneaky back, but Zenborne gets caught.
Got spotted out. Zenborne gets killed as well. Golfier not available, unfortunately, but he's going to be able to look for it. I think it might respawn very soon, though.
It's going to be close. That was so unfortunate for Zenborne there, because who's going to expect that ward there? They were backing right on top of the ward. It was such an, just awkwardly placed.
That's true. They placed the ward under their own tier 1 tower, which is not something that you're used to seeing at all. So without the tower giving you the vision, relying on that ward was very beneficial for Retribution. They find the kill, and now they should be able to find this Golfier.
They have Wrath here. They'd have to egregiously mess up for this to not go their way, but it does. And RvL gonna push forward, but again, all with these walls. I mean, he's just been unstoppable.
That's what you have to do, because it seems like RvL definitely wanted to chase them down. That one wall was the difference between probably life or death for 2 members or so from Retribution.
I've seen that multiple times. Even when we saw the split push coming out for Mango, like, All's wall blocked off 3 members who were trying to chase him down. He's been really good with them right now. Only level 13 though, so he still is open to be abused. And here comes a Fire Giant. Obviously, Draconic Form and Wrath are available for RvL right now. So they have, I mean, they'll shred this. But Fenrir noticed at the start of it.
It out. He's going to be able to sniff it out, but the Zenborne is going to go into the ultimate. He doesn't know. He has no idea. The Fire Giant gets instantly taken.
Did he really not know that?
He honestly didn't know. He took a quick peek around that corner where the ward was.
He must have just thought they were counter warding. Well, that's brutal.
A counter ward becomes a free Fire Giant for the side of RvL, and now they're a Fire Giant team with a level 19 Freya grouped up in the right-hand side.
And this game was actually going okay for Retribution. They were only down by about 1K, but with FG in tow, RvL are just going to try to extend that to, you know, upwards of 6, 7, 8, even 10K. There's 3 tier 2 towers that Retribution have to defend.
And in the mid lane already getting blinked on into the Anhur, he's going to be able to try to jump away, but the Mink gets him. Rapio, great job not allowing Mango Man recommend for any split push.
Right-hand side, Watson getting very low, and this is a kill that needs to happen if JeRon wants to help his team win this fight. He's going to keep chasing. Taiko drums are activated, but the Brutalize goes through it, and it's enough damage to finish him off. JeRon is going to be traded out here more than likely. Last shot coming out from Atonement from that Freya, and a 3-for-3 on the right-hand side. Retribution, they've already done what they needed with the 1-for-1. They just need to play defensively now.
They find the whoop onto Awe, the pulse, irradiate combination. Nice little stun from Awe, keeping him alive, but Gnome's going to keep him in place.
Ooh, just, I think these Guan U heals doing a fair bit. Spirit Ball just off the mark, but Rapio's been left alone, obviously finding that solo kill against Mango, so he does get the tier 2 in mid. And it seems like RvL don't want to give up. They have the Fire Giant regen, and it's a whoop and a jump forward.
It's going to be a nice little freeze on Freya, preventing any sort of follow-up, though. We're going to be able to be trying to sustain back up off of the circle protection. Now it's Atonement in trouble.
Ooh, very low, but he is going to escape with his life, just barely. But here comes Rapio from underneath. Great silence, and the jukes from Elexum are strong right now, but he's surrounded by 4. He can't stop it. No one else there to help him out, and it's going to be the tier 2 on right as well, just a matter of time. Awe misses the freeze, and Awe is still hanging around here at a very low HP mark.
Gnome is in trouble though. The Desert Fury finds Gnome, but Awe is very low. Freya doing a lot of damage. This Fire Giant buff has been doing so well for RvL, finding the tier 2 tower finally. Now Cavalry charged up, trying to find at least another second kill onto Zenborne.
They want to at least get something off of this. They're already down a significant amount of gold. Zenborne, no ultimate. He's going to be picked up more. Oh, it just came up.
That's going to be able to negate a lot of damage, finding the jump. I like the option that nMinos tried to do, covering it. It's not going to be enough damage, and I think that he knows he's going to die, so he's just trying to do as much damage.
Just trying to spread out the flames as much as possible. But off of that Fire Giant, a 1K lead turns into a 5,500 lead. Fire Giant still on Rapio on Atonement too. Probably the 2 players you would want outside of Watson.
Absolutely. Atonement has been such a big factor. Look at his player damage, top of the game right now. He's been doing work, especially with the coerces coming from Zenborne.
I mean, we've only seen him outside of boxing and lane. We saw him get low once on the right-hand side, and he was pretty safe. So Retribution have to figure out something to deal with this Freya. They had a really good answer from JeRon, actually finding the 1v1 with Watson isolated, but that's not going to happen every single fight.
And this isn't even his final form right now. He could still sell the Vamp Shroud and go for the Rada Tahuti.
I mean, he hasn't put out 100% yet. He's probably still rocking that what, 60%?
You know, he could go into isolated chamber training and keep on going, you know?
You never know what these guys have planned for you. Gold Fury is for sure going to be happening, though, in a minute and a half here. Probably going to be what both teams are looking for. Retribution able to sneak it away after, I wouldn't really say sneak it away. It was kind of known, but able to strip it away. Surprisingly, last time it was spawned. This time going to be a lot harder with RvL having a significant lead.
Atonement going into the left side jungle without any wards, feeling very confident right now that he can kind of take any sort of engagement.
He's full build.
The rest of his team is kind of going for the upper pass, so they're going to be able to grab this tier 2 tower before the Gold Fury.
They want to at the very least. And Fenrir just back. Zenborne shows his face. And it's a 4-man grouping. Gnome split pushing on the right-hand side, maybe trying to draw the attention of someone so he can TP over, but nMinos isn't wasting any time. He's actually looping around here from the top to help defend it. Doesn't matter. Shredded in an instant.
Tier 2 tower does go down for RvL. They're now going towards the gold, or they could go straight to fire if they wanted to. It's still down, though, for another about minute to minute and a half.
I think it's like 30 or 45 seconds after the Gold Fury spawns. We'll see the Fire Giant spawn, something around there. Yeah, about 48 seconds. I was close. Just my guesswork.
Pretty good. So we see Rapio doing a good job trying to put members into combat here. Gold Fury getting melted pretty quickly, already around 40%.
But, I mean, JeRon's got to get in here, and it is reset. JeRon jumps forward. This could go either way right now. It's very low. RvL come up with it just barely. JeRon manages to get out for now, just trying to run away.
They're taking so much damage in return, though. We see Rapio chasing down the Fenrir on the right left-hand side. Anhur's trying to get away, whereas Elexum, he's getting dove by Gnome. Nowhere to go. Watson's going to follow up.
Just a split fight completely, and this is not good for Retribution. JeRon has already fallen. Elexum's the next to take a spill, all surrounded. nMinos trying to peel, but he's actually just put himself into a worse position. Atonement takes out Awe, and now it's going to be the chase down for nMinos as well. 4 dead, only Mango Man alive here, and he's juking for his life.
He's trying to get away from a speed buff jungler, which is not the case, unless he can find the jump over the wall. Just doesn't have the cooldown.
I think it was up. Am I mistaken, or did I see like his knees start to go down like he was about to jump? It was close.
Squatting?
I think he was squatting.
Well, either way, it's going to be RvL squatting on the Titan and getting their first win of this 2-game set. They've been doing a great job so far. They're extending their lead. They already got 10 points. Going to be at 11 after this one.
This was just really clean. It didn't seem like Retribution were ever in it. Obviously, at 8 minutes, the game was very close in gold. I think only, 1,500 separating them at most. But, I mean, with that early game comp, we just didn't see Retribution try and utilize it.
It was just basically RvL dictating the pace of the game. They got caught out one time, but it was just a nice job of disengaging immediately after. They found those 2 gold furies, and they couldn't ever get capitalized on. Retribution didn't have the tools necessary to chase them down.
We'll see if